At the end of this video, you will understand what is Open Structured Query Language, in short OpenSQL. What are the new features of OpenSQL, and you will be able to write programs using new features of OpenSQL. What is OpenSQL? It is a set of ABAP statements which performs operations like reads, modifies, or deletes data in the SAP database. It is independent of the database system, so the syntax of the OpenSQL is uniform for all the databases supported by SAP. All the OpenSQL statements are passed to the database interface. According to SAP HANA SQL 92.2 standards, OpenSQL can be divided into three areas. First one is DML, data manipulation language. This helps to perform operations like select, insert, update, and delete data on the database. Second one is DCL, data control language. DCL aspects are not reflected in standard ABAP. Instead, the data access is managed by the ABAP authorization concept. Third one is DDL, data definition language. ABAP Dictionary or SE11 controls DDL aspects. The enhanced OpenSQL aspires to enable the application of the code to data paradigm. It provides more standard SQL features. It also enables the conception of SAP HANA specific features. The enhancements of OpenSQL comprises syntax improvements. It contains host variable, comma separated list, and much more. The details of the same is explained in further slides. Now moving on to SQL syntax enhancements, starting with host variables and comma separation. In the traditional way, you query the table and place the data in an internal table. But before using the internal table, you have to declare it. Now with the new syntax, you can query the table and place the data in the internal table, where the internal table is created during the selection itself, using the keyword data along with the host variable @. In that case, you have to separate the fields using comma. @ is also known as escape variable, which will help you to escape the checking of this internal table during the activation. Or otherwise, it will give you error saying that the internal table doesn't exist. In this example given in the screen, the internal table LT new table at the end will have three fields: char ID, con ID, and flight date. Moving on to the next syntax enhancement, literal values. It is now possible to check whether a table is empty or not by a select query like shown in the screen. In this example, the flag ABAP true is passed to the new variable LVExits. So finally, LVExits will have value X if table is not empty, else space. You can also add new literals in between select statement. In the example shown in the screen, the field details is a new column having a literal extra text, and the field age is another new column which will have the value 50. So finally, internal table will have four fields: char ID, con ID, which will store the data from table, whereas details and age stores the constant values. Arithmetic and string expressions. With the new changes, you can now use arithmetic expressions like addition, subtraction within a select query. In the example shown, the field price is multiplied with a variable and the result is passed to a new field price with tags. Similarly, you can use any other operators whichever is supported. Coming on to string expressions, you can now concatenate character columns using ampersand operator within a query. In the example shown, Multiple fields which are of type character are concatenated together and the result is passed to the new field address. Case statement. You all have seen case statement used within an ABAP program. Now you can use case statement within a select query. It will check table fields and add new fields and values into the result set. Consider the example given here. It is having a case statement. It checks the field class in table and if the value is matching with the value given in the when clause, it assigns a new value. If there are no matching value, then the else part will take care of passing the value from the table to the result set. Finally, whichever value is resulted is passed to the new custom field class long. So at the end, the internal table in this example will have two fields, locorum and class long. In the previous slide, you saw case statement within a select query. Now the same statement you can use for searching with some condition within the select query. Observe the query given in the screen. There is a case statement where it is checking a condition. If the condition is satisfied, then a literal value is passed, else some other value. In this case, if the field luggage weight, whose value is read from the table, is greater than 30, then it pass a literal heavy luggage, else pass a space to a custom field luggage note. So finally, the internal table in this example will have two columns, luggage note and locker. When locker will contain data from the table, luggage node will have the data from the case statement. Coalesce expressions. This is a conditional expression for checking null value. You have to pass two arguments to this function. If the value of argument 1 is not null, then that value is returned. Else, it will consider value of argument 2. Consider the example given in the screen. Two tables are joined here, where field gross amount from both the table is used inside coalesce statement. If the value of first gross amount is not null, then that value is passed to the custom field expected amount. Else, it will consider the second gross amount. In a normal scenario, you cannot use a where clause when an aggregate function is used in a select query. But with the new enhancement, you can have having clause in place of where when aggregate function is used. Join statement. Before the syntax enhancement on SQL, you could use only inner and left outer join. But now, right outer join is also introduced. The on condition is enhanced as well. It is no more mandatory to use field of the right table in the on condition. Also, operators like greater than, less than can be used for comparison within an on condition. It is possible now to use fields of the right table in the where clause of left outer join. In order to do automatic line handling, earlier you used to write the select query like shown in the screen. You have to specify the extension client specified and the client number in the where clause. But with the new changes, you can write the same query in the new way. Just have to mention using client and the client number within the query. Union. Union is a SQL command to combine the results of two separate queries into one dataset. Before this command existed, you had to run two distinct queries and then combine the data into a single internal table. Consider the example given in the screen. You can see two queries joined using a union statement. Finally, the entire result set is populated into the internal table LT result. Now that you have seen various SQL syntax enhancements, please watch the demo videos for understanding more about it. Also, do the exercises and start incorporating the new changes into your real-time objects. All the best.